I'll put this at the beginning of the episode, but I'm going to say it again right now. Content warning. I'm about to bring up something that may be triggering for some people, but I think it's something we need to talk about, especially when we talk about people with disabilities and our children with disabilities, whether it's, autism or any other disability. And I bring this up because what's up, everybody? This is Dr. Hardwick here with Dr. Lee, and this is the Hardly Typical Podcast Season 2. Make sure you smash that like button, that subscribe button, because we are back with Season 2 of the Hardly Typical Podcast. Dr. Lee, how are you feeling?
Feeling amazing to be back in Season 2.
Absolutely. I am so glad that we are back. We missed y'all. And so we need you to, again, share, like, make sure that you're telling people that you are listening to the Hardly Typical Podcast right now, because we are back for Season 2.
Let's go. So, I got to ask you, we did this last season. I got to ask you this season. How's the shoe game?
Yes. The shoe game is always on point. Me, I tell you, I like to stay fresh. So if you're asking what the shoe of the day is, I think that's what you're asking.
The shoe of the day. We need like a cool jingle that's like the shoe of the day.
Yeah.
Something like that. We got to come up with it. Yeah.
Listeners,
go ahead, let them know.
With jingles.
We need one.
we need one for the shoe of the day. But today's shoe of the day is actually it's a very interesting shoe.
Nice.
See that 23 on there? It's like a super duper high top. For those who are listening and not watching, it's black with white trim at the bottom, and then like a orange-ish, reddish orange 23. I gotta look up the name of it, but here's what I can tell you. I know that shoe is actually designed for people who ride motorcycles.
Cool.
Which is not something my wife will let me do.
Good reason.
Probably good reason. Yeah, we kind of have a thing in our house where we're not allowed to ride anything that doesn't have doors unless it's like a bicycle. So if it doesn't have doors, we don't ride it. But yeah, I love this shoe. It's one of my first shoes. And I'll say this, part of the reason why I got it is because it kind of gives me the feeling of being able to do something that I wouldn't normally do. So like, if you ask me if I was not a pastor and I could be something totally opposite of what I am and who I am and what I stand for and not get in trouble for it.
Okay. All
right. So let's say we can suspend all sin and illegal activity.
Okay.
And I could be totally opposite of who Lamar is today.
What would you do?
I would be in a biker gang.
Whoa.
Hey, totally opposite of me, right?
Whoa. Yeah. I can see it. The leather jacket and all. Ready to go.
Leather jacket. I already got the shoes for it.
There you go.
And I could just totally be someone who I don't have the courage to be in real life. So, hey, that's it. That's my shoe of the day. And now my secret desire is to be a leader of a biker gang.
In a biker gang. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Now you need a cool name so it can go on the back of your jacket. Yeah.
Yes, I do. I've never thought about that. I need a cool biker gang name.
Yep, you need a name.
Except for
maybe y'all can help us.
Yeah, maybe y'all can help us. Knowing that this will never happen because I'm too much of a coward. 1, to ride a motorcycle. 2, to do anything illegal.
Yeah.
But if I had an alter ego, that's what I would do. If I could do it and not ever get in trouble for it. See, I'm still too much of a softie.
He's like, I just want to let you know for the record, I'm not going to do anything illegal.
No. I'm very much a rule follower.
See, well, we're going to make sure we post a picture as usual on our social media, but something that's new to season 2 is we also have video. So make sure if you are listening, you are also watching on YouTube and you can see the shoe firsthand. It's a nice shoe. I must admit, I like it.
I don't wear it a whole lot because I feel like I need to get a motorcycle. I feel like I'm perpetrating when I wear it. You know,
Oh,
I feel like I'm being a fraud.
you know what's funny? Let's talk about that for a minute because you
Okay.
know where I hear the most news about frauds?
Mm,
Online dating. Have you
catfishing.
heard about people putting up 20-year-old pictures or I'm 6'5"
Mm-hmm.
and then they're really only
Mm-hmm.
5'8", things
Yep.
like that?
Yeah.
Funny stuff
Yep.
like that. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I've had a couple friends. I have to say now, to be fair, I have a few friends who have actually met and married from dating apps. But I
Mm-hmm.
also have a couple friends who have some stories and they're like, absolutely not.
I bet. I
So
bet. People like me who are wearing motorcycle shoes who don't really have a motorcycle.
there you go. There you go. Putting up your motorcycle gang name. And then they
Mm-hmm.
meet you and they're like, hey, pastor,
Mm-hmm. No,
like,
yeah.
what's going on here?
Yeah.
So,
I need to put up my Sunday school name.
there. Listen, we were trying to give you a little edge. Now you got your Sunday
Yeah.
school name.
Yeah. I'm a softie.
Oh my goodness. Well, that brings us to our news of the day. And
Mm.
our hardly typical news story is actually about sisters. Sisters, one that is disabled, and how they
Mhm.
came together to create a dating app.
Nice.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
So they are giving people with disabilities and chronic illnesses a safe place to find love and feel seen.
Hmm.
So it's called Dateability.
Wow. I like that.
Isn't that cute? I like
I
it
like
too.
that.
That's easy. That's
Yeah.
one of those nice, not making it too complicated.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Dateability, and the co-founder Jacqueline Child says, we want to go out. We want to have relationships too.
Mhm.
Now there's a safe space to do it.
Yeah.
So kudos to the Child sisters. It's Alexa and Jacqueline who
Okay.
started this app. Two sisters from Colorado. So we want to give them a shout out.
Yeah.
And hey, if you're interested in checking it out, it's called Dateability.
Yeah.
You never know. You may find your love.
Yeah. Well, obviously, I can't check it out because I'm married. but hey,
neither can I. We are both happily married to
Yes.
different people.
Yes. Yes.
So we won't be doing that. But if you try it and you have a good experience, hey, let us know.
Let us know. Yeah, because it definitely, that's a big thing. As a matter of fact, I actually years ago, in partnership with Drexel University in Philadelphia, and a project that they were doing there, I did a conference. And one of the sessions that they wanted me to do, which actually I ended up turning into a 3-part webinar that I did later that summer, was on dating and relationships. That was a huge,
Really?
yeah, it was a huge thing. So my keynote was a different topic, but they wanted me to have a session with some young adults who are autistic and talk about dating and family and all of that. And it went so
That's
well
amazing.
that they contracted me to do a webinar series that I actually created and recorded from my office at my church at the time. And then we did it over the summer and had quite a good audience.
Oh, wow.
Because it's it's a thing. People
That may be something you have to double back. People may want to hear that.
maybe I see. I think I still have the videos. I think I still have the videos.
Yeah.
I probably would change some stuff now because that was a couple years ago and things have
Okay.
changed a lot.
Well, we can go do a little update. Just a little update.
Things have changed a lot, but it's true. People with disabilities, they deserve love. They deserve
Absolutely.
to be able to have access to and enjoy the same things that able-bodied people do. And one of those
Absolutely.
things is family and being able to create relationships and families and traditions.
Yeah.
And so I dig that. Kudos to them. One of the things that actually makes me think of, though, is as we are we're recording this. I'm not sure the exact date that we release it, but we are approaching what some would call the holiday season. And all of the family that comes along with that, visiting family, traveling, those types of things. So let me ask you this, because in our preview episode, as we were getting ready to launch season 2, I mentioned that I learned that you love Christmas.
Yeah. He threw me under the bus.
Yeah. Well, I kind of did. I'm sorry for that. At least I didn't start the bus up. I just put you under there, but I didn't start it up. But it was cool to learn that you love Christmas. But here's something I didn't ask you is, do you all have like any holiday traditions? Like, what is that like for your family? Like, I know what it's like for my family, but do you have like any traditions, any favorite holiday things, Christmas things that you all do as a family? And what is that like for your family?
Yeah, so I actually love holiday traditions. I love looking forward to, okay, we're going to do it again. And I think one of the biggest ones we have started is October 31st. So October 31st in our home is Lee Tree Day.
Wow, okay.
So on October 31st, we put our first Christmas tree up.
Y'all notice you said first.
We can't do them all in the same night. You know, we might have a couple.
Yeah, which means there's more than one.
Listen, if you want the exact number, go back to the season opener. I'm not telling again. I'm not getting myself in. But we got a couple. We got a couple. The first tree goes up on October 31st. We decorate. We have cookies. And then again on Christmas Eve. On Christmas Eve, we always decorate cookies, matching pajamas, little stuff like that. I absolutely love it. And my kids have started to look forward to it as well. So they were like, Mommy, it's time to get the tree out. Come on, let's get it. Come on. So I really love that. I love that they're looking forward to it just as much as I am.
Now, wait a minute. Did I hear you say matching pajamas?
Yes, I am one of those mamas.
Oh.
We all put on those matching pajamas on Christmas Eve and decorate our cookies and set them out for Santa.
Okay, so let me ask this, because I'm just dying to know. And let me do it like this. On a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being total agreement.
Okay.
1 being total disagreement. On a scale of 1 to 10, how into it is everybody else about this matching pajama deal?
Okay, so the kids love it.
Okay.
They're like, Mommy, we're twins now. We are the twins. They love that. I
suspected that.
I love it. My husband, listen, the number doesn't matter because me and the kids are 100, okay? So our love excitement overshadows and it makes up for his, okay? So let's not put a number on it, okay? Lamar, let's not, okay.
Okay. That's fair. That is fair.
Yeah. He gets through it.
Yeah. Because the 10 is going to bring the average up anyway, so it don't matter what the number is. Yeah. Okay.
There you go. You go.
I'm just asking because my wife has been trying to get us to do that for years, and we have all boys, and I think she tried to start this tradition too late. Like, by the time we tried to start that tradition, like they were old enough to be like, we don't want to look like each other and all this, you know.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And I'm like, but y'all are brothers, so you literally look like each other. So I don't know what the problem is, but hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, one place I haven't been successful is Christmas photos. I still haven't gotten those down, but I'm like, come on, let's take.
Okay.
Maybe one day, but
yeah. Well, we're rooting for you because we haven't even gotten close to the matching pajamas yet, and then one of our kids is in college and out of town, so that's probably never going to happen with him.
He's like, absolutely not.
yeah, and our other one just turned 16, so it's probably never going to happen with him. So best we can do is me, my wife, the youngest, and the dog.
Hey, that's a thing. You know they have the outfits for the dogs too to match.
Well, we have a Great Dane, so she ain't going for that either. She
Oh,
don't like us to put nothing on her. So,
oh, she big.
oh,
Great Danes aren't small.
no, she's a large dog, and
Okay.
she will let you know that she doesn't like you putting clothes on her. So,
Okay.
yeah, that's probably not going to happen with her either.
Oh,
But I
okay.
love it. I love the tradition. Listen, we've been trying to do that for years. We have been creating traditions,
Yeah.
especially as the kids age and we're in different seasons. So one of the things that we created years ago, and this is more like Thanksgiving, was going out of town and doing Thanksgiving. Like we used to do the family thing when they were
Okay.
younger. Um, but it was just us who had like really little kids at that time. And so
Okay.
once they started growing up a little bit, 3, 4, 5, 6, it was really boring to them to just
Yeah.
sit in the house all day and watch a bunch of grown-ups cook and watch football and sleep. And it's kind of the same for Christmas. So we started heading out of town for the holidays. So like there was a stretch of years where we would do Disney or SeaWorld, or then we switched to cruises. And
That sounds
so,
fun.
yeah, actually this year, because Thanksgiving is coming up, will be one of the first years in a long time we haven't done a Thanksgiving cruise as a family.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was our tradition for a long time. And so kids love it. Like and me and the wife love it because we don't have to cook and we don't have to clean up nothing. We just get to
There you
eat
go.
and get up and leave.
Sounds amazing. Sounds
It is
amazing.
totally amazing. Almost
There's
as amazing.
a mother listening who wants to
Yeah.
throw something at you for this.
Yeah. It's almost as amazing as matching pajamas, but hey,
Yeah.
we can't have it all.
Neck and neck, neck and neck.
Okay.
Well.
Yeah. So that's been our tradition. But
I like
one
it.
of the things that I think, if I have to be honest and consider, as someone who is autistic, and even as I've been navigating cancer over the last couple of years, is that the having holiday traditions and travel and all those things, there's a lot that goes into being able to have to adjust and have accommodations to be able
Yeah.
to enjoy some of those things. So like, I know one of the things for me is I really I've learned how to have to manage my sensory input,
Okay.
and also manage my energy, which I learned is different from time management. So like I have to know how much energy is going to take me to be able to do something. When we do the cruises, I'm usually the one who books them because I like to have all the information. What might it look like? What might it smell like? What noises do I need to bring? My noise canceling headphones.
Yeah.
I even have like my favorite shoes for traveling, that because airports can be a sensory nightmare. And so
Yeah.
one of the ways that I counteract that is with making sure I wear comfortable clothing, my most comfortable, most favorite shoes. I even use tricks like hard candy
Okay.
that I keep in my pocket to crunch on, like peppermints, butterscotch, it really doesn't matter, but something that I can crunch because it kind of helps regulate my sensory input, because airports can be a nightmare. So like for me, getting
Understand.
to wherever we're going is the hardest part. I always enjoy myself when we're there, but getting there and getting back is like really, really difficult for me. So I have some tips and tools, and I'd be
Yeah.
interested in some of the listeners sharing what,
Yeah.
how disability impacts that, but maybe even you have some ideas or some things that you can share when it comes to holiday traveling, or just things that you have to do to adjust to be able to
Definitely.
enjoy those family traditions.
Definitely. I think first and foremost, as parents, you have to preserve your little one. So their energy, their sanity, their exposure, it's totally different from their normal schedules. So
Mm,
whether they're in school or daycare or therapies, this is now a time where most close.
mm,
So now it's all day. It's
mm,
all day. So, and most people aren't keeping a strict schedule at home. So I would definitely say keeping even a loose schedule helps. Not
mm,
okay at 9:15, at 10:30, but within between 8 and 10,
mhm,
between 10 and 11. Give yourself some room, because you know what? Listen, even little people need breaks too. But
mm,
giving yourself that room, I think that definitely helps, because when you know what to expect, everybody works better. And these are for
mhm,
neurotypical and neurodiverse kids,
mhm.
because your neurotypical kids are out of school too. So now they're like, do I stay up late? Do I sleep all day? Do I? No, 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 no. We're going to keep a little bit of order here now.
Yeah, absolutely.
But something my husband and I have done is we have actually driven separate cars.
Mm,
We've also had two celebrations.
mm,
We've had times where we had a holiday celebration at home, and then he went to the bigger family celebration, and me and the
mhm,
kids stayed home.
mhm,
And at first I thought, oh gosh, this isn't how family is supposed to be. We're
mm,
supposed to be together at all times. But then when I realized that it was preserving the sanity, and it was
mhm,
actually helping, I actually kind of had to let go of what that perfect picture was supposed to
mm.
be,
That's a good point.
and just embrace that this is our family picture. And we had a
Mhm,
great time together. And while we would love to see family all at once, it's
mhm,
probably better if we saw family in doses throughout the year.
mhm,
And some family members that are sensitive to it and understand will stop by the house, and they were great one on one. But having 30 people crammed into a 3-bedroom house,
oh, yeah,
it can be,
yeah,
and we're all, where's the pencil? Where's the forks? Oh, I don't have a plate. Can I get a cup? That
yeah,
can be a lot. That can be a lot. So we have had to adjust, but I think one of the biggest adjustments has been embracing and creating a new norm.
mm,
So, and being okay with the fluidity of that norm.
mhm,
Because one year we did a back to school festival, the whole family, it was great. The next year we did a back to school festival, and there was more time spent in a room within the house than there
mm,
was actually at the festival, because it was just too much. So
mhm,
not being so rigorous. Like, I love tradition, but as much as I love tradition, I love the health and sanity of myself and my kids.
mhm,
So flowing with that and being okay with that.
yeah,
Even sometimes Christmas opening gifts can be a lot. I
mhm,
remember one year it took us 3 days to open presents, not because they had so many, but
mhm,
because we just allowed them to sit, open, play.
yeah.
And they
That's
didn't want
actually
to
a good
sit,
idea.
open, play, sit, open, play. They were just
Yeah,
like, I like this. This is cool.
yeah,
So we spread it out, and we were like,
mhm,
hey, you got another gift. You can open it after breakfast if you like.
mhm.
Sure. So
Yeah, that's actually a good idea. I never thought about that. Yeah. Now, can I say, as someone who has sensory processing challenges, when you talked about cramming all the people into a house,
yeah,
like I could literally feel my anxiety raising just the image,
just mentioning it.
just
Like,
picturing it.
don't do it. No.
And then you were like, people were like, "Where's the fork? Where's that?" And I could literally hear in my
Yeah.
head like plates clanging and
Yeah.
forks
People talking
scraping.
loud, and then,
Yeah,
hey, give me a hug. How have you been?
yeah, yeah,
It can be
yeah.
overwhelming. It can
It
be overwhelming.
Yeah, it's a lot. Actually, years ago, and I might release this on our page, wrote a piece about how to handle the holidays,
Mm-hmm.
tips that I've learned, and I drew the imagery of a hurdler,
Mm.
someone who ran hurdles, and I talked about how you have to have a good start. Uh,
Yeah.
so I usually try to do things that I enjoy before I head off to family gatherings.
Yeah.
I talked about, um, good hurdlers have a good pace.
Mm.
So I figure out what the pace is. They also know how many steps it takes in between hurdles. So I talked about having the proper downtime in between events, knowing how to space out things and not overwhelm yourself. And so, yeah, I think I'll probably release that and maybe put it on our page just
That
as
would
a
be
way
good.
of saying, these are some things that have helped me. Maybe it'll help you. But you said something that I want to transition into. We've talked about this before bringing this up, especially as we sort of get ready to wrap up here. But you talked about the family members saying, "Hey, give me a hug, give me a kiss," those types of things. And I wrote another article about this, and I want to get your input about this. And so I'll put this at the beginning of the episode, but I'm going to say it again right now. Content warning. I'm about to bring up something that may be triggering for some people, but I think it's something we need to talk about, especially when we talk about people with disabilities and our children with disabilities, whether it's, autism or any other disability. And I bring this up because people with disabilities have extremely high rates of being sexually assaulted. And the data also shows that, especially when it relates to children or people with disabilities, it tends to be people that we know.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that tends to be family or people who are adjacent to our family. Because remember, when we talk about family traditions, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's our immediate family. It could be in-laws, their children. It can be neighbors also coming through. And so there's a lot of people coming through these gatherings. Now, I'll say this. I've had my own personal experience when I was younger with being assaulted. And that's public knowledge. I wrote about this years ago. But in that article, I talked about making sure that we don't enforce social norms on our children that cause them to have an eroding sense of agency over their own body. Now, what do I mean by that? You brought it up. Oh, give Uncle such and such or Grandma such and such a hug. Give them a kiss. Sit on their lap. Sometimes we spend the night and we pile all the cousins in the bed together. So what I'm saying is, it's just for parents to be mindful that while all those may be acceptable social norms, when we force socialization on our children that makes them uncomfortable, just be mindful that we are inadvertently teaching them that their body does not belong to them.
Yeah.
And that they do not have agency over their own body. And one of the reasons why it becomes extremely difficult if certain situations arise where there are questions about potential assault, one of the reasons why it's hard for children to tell the truth is because, not because they don't want to, but because we've told them inadvertently that their body is there for the pleasure and the gratification of others, and when we force them to hug, kiss, and sit on laps that they don't want to. So I just wanted to make sure that we bring that up.
And that's a great point. Here's something I do personally with the Lee 3. And I have to, sometimes as the adult, you have to stand in, you have to take that hit for them. So I would hold them where my arm was holding around their chest, right? And I'd hold them to me as they would greet people. And I'd say, okay, hug or high five. Which would you like, a hug or a high five?
That's so
and
good.
Sometimes a hug, sometimes just a high five. And and here's how this would go sometimes. This is how this will go. Would you like to give a hug or a high five? I would like to give a high five. Oh, you don't want to hug me? No, she's not comfortable hugging. Now see how I've spoken up for a little one who may not have the courage to speak up for themselves.
That's
good. But
good.
we give hugs in this family and that's the right thing to do. Well, today she would prefer a high five. And when she's comfortable, she can give hugs, but that in no way measures her love. for her mom, dad, cousin, uncle, brother, sister, grandma.
Mm-hmm.
It's how
Yeah.
she feels, and she gets to decide.
Yeah.
So now any of that, oh no, I can't believe you're doing this, goes towards me as the adult, and I can handle it. But
Right.
it doesn't put the guilt on the child's shoulders.
Yeah. That's so
So
good.
for some time when we would greet going into new settings, I would greet along with them until they felt comfortable saying, I only want a high five, or I don't mind a hug today.
Mm-hmm.
But allowing them to know that they get to decide, and there's no guilt tripping them. You don't get to
Yeah.
guilt trip them into, oh, well, your sister gave me a hug. Well,
Right.
I'm not my sister.
Yeah.
So sometimes we have to stand in and create those boundaries, but also model those boundaries, because I was doing two things there. I was, first of all, protecting them.
Mm-hmm.
And secondly, I was modeling to them the type of conversation you have when someone wants to consciously disregard your boundaries.
Hmm.
The first thing, well, what do I say? I said I wanted to high five, and now they're telling me I can't. Well, what do I say? Well, now mommy has modeled this conversation for you.
Yeah.
So now
good.
if you are caught alone, you now know what to say.
Yeah.
So we want to step in and do those things because, and here's another great thing about it too. You may have a loved one with a disability who can't articulate. So in that case, a picture system will be great. We're going to go to grandma's. Here's a picture of grandma's house. And I would use physical pictures. I couldn't always find the cartoons I wanted. So I would take physical pictures and print them
Right.
out and laminate them. We're going to go to grandma's. We're going to eat. We're going to see auntie, uncle, cousin, brother, sister. We're going to light the Christmas tree, and then we're going home. So at any point we're in that scene, if someone was getting overstimulated, if someone was getting upset, you can now bring the pictures to me. Where are we? Where
Right.
are we in this schedule? Because this is a bit much. And then you get to see how much time we have left to do this. And at any point you can, okay, can we skip to this? Can we go ahead and
Right.
eat so we can go?
Yeah. Yeah. I need
But
those.
you're giving voice to the voiceless.
Mhm.
So one thing I always say, give people more than one way to communicate with you.
Yeah.
Because in that moment, in that rush, hustle and bustle of the holiday, they may lose their voice. The voice may be hard to find. So
Yeah.
give them a picture. If they can't find their pictures, give them signs. Basic ASL signs. We can all learn. YouTube. You don't even have to take a class, but just giving options. I'm really big on options and allowing my kids to know that it's not a one size fits all. They don't have to go with the grain, because I don't go with the grain. Sometimes I don't mind a hug. Other times I want a high five too. Let's
Yeah.
just high five today.
Yeah.
So it's kind of modeling that, setting boundaries and protecting your peace.
So good. Yeah. I like that. I often joke that as terrible as the COVID pandemic was, it was great for me because I didn't have to justify not wanting to hug people. Because,
Yeah.
you know, especially as a pastor, and especially in the South, people are very social in the church. And, you know, that was always one of the things that I struggled with is people want to shake hands and hug their pastor. And, you know, I've already, you know, talk about energy management. I've already given a lot of my energy to the sermon or whatever it is that I'm doing, and I don't have the capacity. And you talk about losing your voice. You think with somebody who talks for a living would be able to speak up for themselves, but that's part of the social anxiety.
Yeah.
And so I actually have always, even at this age, been challenged with that when it comes to being around family, traveling to. Part of it, honestly, why we started doing our own tradition of going away is because I think my wife discovered, especially after I was diagnosed, why it was so challenging for me.
Yeah.
And some of the ways that it was actually causing a lot of stress on relationships unknowingly, but then also in ways that were probably more damaging to me than it was to the family members who didn't understand me before I was diagnosed. And so, yeah, I like that. I probably wish I would have had some of those cards. And you talk about sharing the social story, the pictures, like,
Yeah.
man, I wish I would have had some of that. Like, hold up a card, like let's go here, because I'm totally overstimulated and I don't like these people.
Yeah. And you know what, Lamar, I've learned a lot of parents do this naturally already. When they pull up to grandma's house, all right, guys, we're going to go in, we're going to give grandma her presents, we're going to have dinner.
Yeah.
You're going to open your presents and then we're going to go home. Okay. Any questions?
Yeah.
That's what it's laying it out to them. The picture is just giving them a different way to look at it. But I realized through conversations, a lot of parents do that anyway.
Yeah.
And I was like, just be intentional about it. Just be
Right.
intentional about it. So then we all know what to expect. We're going home by 9. We'll be gone at 7. You know, if anybody needs help, I'll be in the living room in that same leopard chair I sit in every year. You know, it's just kind of reiterating so that everybody feels safe.
Yeah. And that's the key word. And that's why I wanted to bring that up. Is to keep our kids, our teenagers, young adults with disabilities safe, because again, they do have higher rates of being assaulted. And statistics also show that it's usually not the person in the scary van or the guy hiding behind the bushes or someone. And this is data backs this up. It's usually someone that we know, or that is close, a neighbor, a family member, a cousin, a distant cousin, or someone who has access to our kids, who oftentimes are in environments that are designed to be safe, but sometimes there are people there who are not safe for them to be around.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah.
So we don't want to put a downer on your holiday, but we want you to be safe in your celebration.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Please be
So
safe.
share with us some of the things that you guys do to protect your family or to prepare your family. What do you have to do? Do you have a little one who stims? So you have to put in preventative measures to protect not only your little one, but also property. Family property. What do you all do? Make sure you go to Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and let us know and share. And now I definitely have to ask this. We cannot not ask this. With the holiday talk, one of the main points, my favorite of holidays, is eating. I love a good meal.
Yes.
What is your favorite holiday dish?
Oh gosh. I suppose you want me to answer that.
Listen, how about this? I'm going to give you 5 minutes while our listeners, make sure they run to social media and answer for us. That'll be our question for this episode. What's your favorite holiday dish?
Yeah.
Now that bought you 2 minutes. So now you thought about it. What's yours?
Okay. So the listeners know, I have probably since the beginning of 2024, on the recommendation of my doctor, went back to a plant-based diet. I used to be vegetarian years ago. But when I wasn't, it was nothing better than a fried turkey from Popeyes. Now, I don't know if
I've never had one, but I've heard.
Yes, please. You can start ordering them and you can pick them up from Popeyes, and they're pre-done. So you just put them in the oven for like 2.5, 3 hours. And they're seasoned to perfection.
Okay.
Yes, please do not leave this world until you have had the fried turkey from Popeyes.
Now, I've had fried turkey, but I have not had it from Popeyes. So I will put that on my bucket list. Absolutely.
Do it this year. And it depends on the going prices of turkeys, but it's not expensive and it doesn't take long to cook. So yeah, that was my favorite thing. And then I love, some people call it stuffing, some people call it dressing. To be honest with you, I still don't know the difference, but whatever you call it, that's what I like. So those are my 2 favorite things. What about you?
With a good gravy. I'm with you. Yeah. I think I'm a dessert person. I look for, oh my goodness, pumpkin cheesecake.
Oh, yes.
It's so good. Oh my goodness, so good. Like I got to stop myself from eating like 3 pieces. Like stop, just stop.
Yes.
And then I love all the desserts, but then I love a good caramel cake. Yeah. It's really good. It's really good. I love all the desserts. I want the sugar cookies. I want the peanut butter cookies. I want the cheesecakes. I want the pies. I'm tearing up the dessert table. So the tradition when we were growing up was on Christmas morning, we could eat dessert for breakfast.
Oh, wow.
On Christmas morning, we could eat dessert for breakfast. So I would always get like a piece of sweet potato pie for breakfast with whipped cream.
Yes. Okay.
And that was the one day a year we could like get away with eating sweets before noon. My mom had a strict noon time. You could not have sweets before noon. But Christmas Day, we could have dessert for breakfast.
Okay. So that's our new tradition. I just found it. There you go. Thank you so much.
There you go.
I appreciate it.
It was a good one. I knew every year I would go straight to that sweet potato pie. I knew today I can eat this. Tomorrow I got to wait till noon.
There you go. There we go. New tradition. Thank you for that. We adding that one. Yep, we're adding that one. I appreciate that.
It was a good one, I must admit.
Yeah. So listen, as we kind of recap, any sort of closing thoughts? I know we talked about a lot. Closing thoughts, anything you want to share with the listeners? It's such a very important topic that you want them to go away with.
I love holidays. I think the listeners know this by now. I absolutely love the traditions. I love the fact that people go out of their way to be a bit more courteous. And I am just going to challenge our listeners to go out of your way to be a bit more courteous to yourself.
Yeah.
Cut yourself some slack. Be a little more lenient on yourself. If you don't get the turkey right, if you don't get everything done on time, if you don't get the decorations perfect, be okay with it. Still enjoy yourself. Get your rest. Enjoy your family. Love on yourself the way you love on your family.
Yeah, I like that. Ditto. So listen, as we close, I know you normally give us a closing quote, but I'm going to do it today.
All right, let's hear it.
And this one comes from Calvin Coolidge, and he says, Christmas is not a time nor a season, but a state of mind. To cherish peace and goodwill, to be plenteous in mercy, is to have the real spirit of Christmas. I agree.
Awesome. I love it.
I agree. So listen, thank y'all for tuning in. Remember to subscribe, like, and share, and engage with us on social media. Don't forget about our Substack. Be looking out for a couple of those articles that I talked about. I'm going to see if I can post them there. And again, we're not just building a podcast, we're building a community. So we want to engage with you on social media. So any questions or comments that you have, make sure that you go to any of our platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Substack. We will engage with you there. So if we don't get to tell you, depending on when this episode airs, happy Thanksgiving. I'm pretty sure this will air before Christmas, but if not, I'm just going to go ahead and say it anyway. Merry Christmas.
There you go. Happy Kwanzaa and Happy New Year too.
Yes.
Throw it on in there.
Throw it all in there. Happy holidays. Blessings.
Happy holidays.
and don't eat too much. And we'll see you on the next episode of the Hardly Typical podcast.
See you later.